Hey guys, it's Schnickerman back with another Digimon World Next Order video. Today we're going to take a look at how to collect old Digimon cards and how to get different resources within the game. Both of these techniques will help you get two different trophies: First Class Creator and Card Master. So basically for First Class Creator you need to maximize your city's building potential, so that means you need a bunch of different materials in order to upgrade all different aspects of the city. For the Card Master you basically need to collect all 540 old Digimon cards, which all have a RNG chance to drop when you gather different materials. So as you can see, both of these trophies and these techniques in general are intertwined, so that's why I'm combining them into one video. First, let's just talk about how the material gathering process works in this game. There are 4 different types of materials that you can gather: metal, liquid, wood, and stone. They're all represented by different colors on the map, and when you gather them you have a number of 1 through 5 times that you can gather the resource or the material, and every time you gather you get different materials. Some of the materials are more common, some of them are rare, and it seems like specific spots may have a tendency to give you a higher chance of getting rare materials, but this is still relatively unknown. Someone needs to study that. That could be a future video that I do at some point. And the other thing to note is when you're gathering these materials, your character only has so many he can hold at once before you have to go back to the city and drop off your materials. Now this can increase if you increase the right skills of your tamer. However, this is just something to keep in mind. So I made these routes with the maximum amount of resources that you can carry at once, and I tried to minimize the amount of time that it takes to gather these resources. In order to get every single thing you would need for First Class Creator to max out all grades of the facilities as a builder, I just want to take you through some things. So this is the builder area. As you can see here, Vmon has different places that you're able to upgrade, and I've upgraded most of them. But let's say, for example, Square wants to be upgraded. On the right hand side you can see all the materials we need and how many we have. Then at the bottom, if I were to select this, if I had enough materials, the time would say 24 hours, and then you'd have to wait about 1 day in-game in order for the construction to be complete. When it goes to 0, it doesn't automatically upgrade. Let's say, for example, we're going to the square. Well, in order to upgrade the square, you have to actually go right outside of the square area, and then it will tell you that the construction's complete. So for this example, we would go out through here, then we would come back and it would say, okay, the square has been upgraded, and then you can continue. Just make sure you know that, because if you don't do that right away, you're going to just waste time, especially if you have the right resources and you're trying to maximize your efficiency at upgrading with the builder. The next thing I want to show you guys is if you have Zudomon or Hirugumon, you can actually pay them to go out and collect materials for you. And these will give you rare materials, or if you don't give them any money, you can still have them hunt for low level materials, and the things that they look for are different between the two. So let's say, for example, we're going to pay Zudomon to go get some stones for us, and then Gotsumon and Tyrannomon are actually extremely useful and underutilized in all of the guides I've looked at. Is you can get all these common materials and then slowly upgrade them to the more rare materials. You can exchange all the way up to the rarest materials. Same thing with Gotsumon. Right now you can see that he's got emeralds and rubies and diamonds, so I can exchange all the way up. And it's worth noting that these guys exchange every day, so if the materials that you're looking for are not available here, you'll have to wait until the next in-game day in order to do so. One more tip for completing your builder in Floatia is that if you talk to Vmon, and let's pick, for example, that square isn't completed, so if we click triangle, it's going to actually open up all the materials available, and if you look at the bottom, it it actually shows which areas has it. So for example, we need blue Digizoid. So we're going to open up the materials and we're going to look at blue Digizoid, and it's very rare and it's found in parts of Absolute Zero. So now we know that we have to look in Absolute Zero in order to find this material, or we can use Tyrannomon or one of the other characters to build up and turn it into that material on a specific day of the week. For the next part of the video, I'll focus on how to get Digimon cards and focus on the best routes to do so. So when you gather a resource, regardless if it's common or more rare, basically there's some percentage of chance when you gather that you will get an old Digimon card. With the Digimon cards, you can get one numbered from 1 all the way up to 540. Whatever one you get is random, and as I mentioned, when you gather the material, the chance that you get a card is also random. There are some theories on the internet of people that say that specific things give you a higher chance of getting it. I don't necessarily believe any of that. I need to see a full study on it. But I will say the more resources you gather, the higher your chance is going to be to get cards. So, unfortunately, similar to the fishing, there are a lot of variables here and a lot of random chance, but you just got to keep at it and eventually you can get both of these trophies. For the routes, I targeted ones that had a good amount of resources gathered and also an amount of time that was probably less than 4 minutes per route. That way I could go do one route, autopilot to the city, fly out to the next place, do it again, and do all of that within 1 day cycle in the game. Then you go to sleep. And I believe that once you go to sleep, most of the resources will come back. So if you even time it right and you go to sleep, as soon as you finish a route, you can then go back and regather that whole route if you have space for it. I wanted to explain the data that I collected here. So for each of these routes, I did 6 different replicates of the same route, and then I averaged together all these numbers: rare drops, total number of spots in the gathering, the number of gathers stay the same. However, the time of the route will change and the amount of cards I got will change. So I did 6 trials and averaged them all together, and I think that gives a fairly accurate representation of what this route would be on average. So now to actually look at the data, so here you can see Server Desert, and the average route time took 208 seconds. And then I decided to also calculate the number of cards you can gather per minute using each route. So here we had 0.722 cards per minute gathered, and the amount of rare drops we got per minute was 1.35. Pause here if you want to take a further look at this information, and I'm going to play a fast-forwarded version of this route right now. The next route is Absolute Zero. Here you can see the number of cards per minute would be 0.413. The number of rares per minute would be 5.23. And now here's the route sped up. The next one I looked at was Faulty Ex Machina. This one you can see we have 0.852 cards per minute and 3.51 rares per minute. Pause the video if you want to take a further look. Here's the route starting right now. The next one we looked at was mod cape, cards per minute 0.8331, and the number of rares per minute is 3.5. If you want to see this in further detail, pause the video now, and here's the route coming up. The next one we wanted to take a look at has really high results. The route is only 63 seconds long. However, you're only going to be able to do it once every in-game day. You can see the cards per minute is 1.59, which is extremely high, and the number of rares per minute is 9.54, which is also very high. Another good route here, Faulty Ex Machina Hinterland. You can see cards per minute is 1.08, and the number of rares per minute is 4.57. The last route is Logic Volcano. The number of cards per minute is 0.638, and the number of rares per minute is 2.91. I decided to compile all the best card drop rates. Here you can see from the 1st to the 7th, from the most cards dropped per minute to the lowest. Please just keep in mind that this is calculated by taking the number of card drops per minute, and that this isn't a perfect system. There is some variability between the card drop rates. So this is what it was for me. I'd say the top 4 are probably the best ones that you can use, but if you find something different, don't be surprised. Another thing is, after I collected all this data, I found that there are specific gathering locations that have a higher probability of giving you cards than others. Out of the 6 different times that I've done the Logic Volcano route, I got, I think, 4 out of 6 of this specific gather giving me a card, which is higher than all the other ones in this whole route. So keep that in mind as well. There are some random numbers associated with each gathering location. Another tip for the Card Master trophy, if you ever want to know how many cards you have to travel to the entertainment district for the museum, talk to Myotismon, and he will show you exactly how many cards you have. So you can see, as of the filming of this video right now, I have 518 out of 540. And as I said, every time you get one, it will be random, so as long as you get 540 cards, you should have all of them. And then next is the rare material drop rates, calculated per minute as well. Again, this is the rate for getting rare drops. However, if you're working on the builder trophy, there may be specific rare drops that you need. So although these numbers are useful to look and see which ones have the highest rare drop rates, they may not be the right materials for you. But keeping in mind again that the top 3 to 4 are probably the ones to start with. And remember that drop rates are random. This is just an average from my 6 trials. You can see varying success. If you guys have any routes that you think are beneficial that I didn't mention, please leave it in the comments and help the viewers out to find more routes that they can utilize. I will say that this is just a very grindy thing and will take most people many hours in order to get them all, but rest assured that you will get there and you can complete this. If you guys enjoyed this video and other Digimon World Next Order videos, please like the video, subscribe if you want, and leave in the comments any other videos that you'd want to see. For right now, I think the newest one after this I'm planning would be to complete the Colosseum with emphasis on the last S-tier battle, which is quite difficult, and it's been taking me a good amount of time, and there's not too much information, so I want to put that out there. If you have any other ones, maybe the % chance that you get a card drop from resource gathering, that would actually be really interesting. Or perhaps what percentage of the time do you get rare resource drops compared to the more common ones. Until next time, guys, this is Schnickerman. Peace out.